In this video, we're going to look at the landmarks of the ulna and radius. Remember, the ulna is the medial bone of the forearm, while the radius is the lateral bone of the forearm. We're going to start with our ulna first. Now, the ulna is a super easy bone to identify because at its proximal end, it has this nice U shape in it. Now, when we look at the proximal end, that's the elbow end, we can see the olecranon. Olecranon means elbow head. So this is the point of your elbow when you bend it. That points the olecranon. We have the trochlear notch, which is the large C-shaped depression on the front of the ulna. And then at the distal end of the trochlear notch, we have this hook-shaped projection called the coronoid process. Now, remember how I said with the scapula, students often get coracoid and coronoid confused. Coracoid means bird-shaped or crow-shaped. Coronoid means hook-shaped. Coronoid has an N, and so does the word ulna. Easy way to keep them straight. Now, if we look at the ulna straight on, we can see the olecranon, the trochlear notch, and the coronoid process. On the lateral side of the coronoid process, we have this little depression right here. This is called the radial notch because the head of the radius is going to articulate right there and spin. Now, as we come down from the coronoid process, we can see the ulnar tuberosity. The ulnar tuberosity is going to be an important muscle attachment location. Traveling down to the distal end, which is the wrist end of the bone, we can see a little column-like projection on the ulna. This is called the styloid process. You can actually feel this on the pinky side of your wrist. On the back of your wrist right here on the pinky side, that little bump is the styloid process. Let's take a look at our radius. Remember, the radius is the lateral bone of the forearm. If we look at the head of the radius, we notice that it's really circular and disc shaped. Remember, radius refers to half of the distance across a circle, so radius has a circular head. Now, the name radius actually comes from a Latin word that means spoke of a wheel, because when anatomists saw this, they thought it looked like the spokes that help support a wagon wheel. If you ride a bike, it might look like the spokes of your bike wheel. So as we mentioned earlier, we have our circular head region. Just past the head, we have the radial tuberosity, which is a swelling of many little bumps on the radius. And at the distal end of our radius, we have two features: a column-like projection that we refer to as the styloid process, and on the medial side, we have this little notch here, which is the ulnar notch. The ulnar notch is going to articulate with the head of the ulna.